Hello everyone, welcome to Phidippides TV. The point of Phidippides TV is to inform everybody about the latest and greatest products, running shoes, accessories, apparel that we would have to offer our customers and clientele. My name is Kevin Graham, I'm the general manager, and I'm here with Gregory Sheets.
Hello guys.
Gregory Sheets has been with Phidippides for 30 plus years. He was instrumental in working with industry top level people to kind of basically figure out a way of creating a situation where we're doing evaluations for people. So Gregory was instrumental in that, and we cherish his presence at Phidippides at all times. What is Phidippides? Phidippides is the original running specialty store. Started by Jeff Galloway in Florida in 1974 and brought to Atlanta in 1975. It's the pioneer, if you will, of running specialty stores. Gregory Sheets here was one of the original members of the staff years ago, and he is who trains everybody at Phidippides. So we love having that continuity of having Greg Sheets here, and we don't know if he's ever going to retire, and we hope he never does. But welcome to Phidippides TV, and we hope everything that you see here is helpful and keeps you running. Hello everyone, welcome again to Phidippides TV. What we plan to talk about today is some of the neutral cushion shoe updates of the summer of 2015, as well as the Peachtree Road Race. So first up is the Brooks Ghost 8. And Greg Sheets, I know you're excited about this update, so tell me what you know about the differences between the Ghost 8 and the Ghost 7.
Thank you, Kevin. The current Ghost has taken on a little bit of a sleeker personality, if you will. One of the key components of previous Ghost has been the fit of the toe box. And Brooks wanted to hold on to that original personality and that format, but maybe bring the upper of the Ghost a little closer to the person's foot. So therefore, if you are a previous Ghost wearer, you may experience a little more of a sock-like, glove-like fit at the forefoot of the shoe. And therefore, it may feel basically a little narrower to you. Don't fear, Ghost is always available in various widths, including one that's a little wider, if the rest of the shoe is appealing to you.
What about the midsole? What the personal experience when they like riding on top of the midsole, has that changed a lot or not?
It has in the engine, which means the person may not notice it as much. But what Brooks wanted to do was simplify the midsole. And there it's a one-piece material, particularly on the medial side of the shoe, which again I like to say simplifies the basic concept of the shoe. Still, their intention is to provide a smoother transition from heel to toe and have the flexibility not impeded and not
necessarily alienate anybody that was in the old.
Absolutely
7?
not. The transition from the previous version to the current version on a feel and function level has been seamless.
Well, some customers will come in, one of their biggest complaints is, I love the shoe, and then they changed it, and I couldn't wear it anymore. Do you think that we're going to have that kind of feedback on this shoe or not?
Not at all, except for the upper material or the upper fit that might squeeze some people a little more than the previous version.
Hug, but not tight. Probably
I would say
better
that is an accurate assessment. And keep in mind, we have on several iterations or versions of this shoe, and for the most part, the transition from one year to the next has been relatively seamless. Again, trying to improve the function and the feel of the shoe, but without alienating, as you said, the previous wearers, and hoping to attract, if that's possible, even more people to the shoe.
Anything more to add about the update?
Colors have been dynamic, and people have thought
Good.
good
Well, hopefully
coloration.
people like dynamic colors.
The weight has fluctuated. Basically, we're not going to mention that it was a huge, a drastic change in the weight. Some people have said that it feels maybe a little lighter, about the same. But the shoe itself, because of the balance of it, tends to feel light on the person's foot anyway.
Gotcha. Well, there you have it. The Ghost 7 has been updated to the Ghost 8, so we think everybody will like it. And again, thank you for watching. Okay, the next update we're going to talk about is Saucony's go-to neutral shoe, the Saucony Ride. They've updated from the 7 to the Saucony Ride 8. And we're going to talk about some of the difference with the shoeroo, Greg Sheets.
Does that mean this shoe has been out 8 years?
I don't know. Has it been out 8 years?
I think so.
Or at least the 8th iteration of the shoe. So Greg Sheets, tell us in a nutshell what the difference is between the 8 and the 7.
My favorite difference is potentially a little more balance to the curvature or the shape of the midsole wrapping. Meaning
In
that
the back of the
in
shoe.
the back of the shoe. We are always aware of shoes that have potential crash pad, which is a good thing to enhance the transition. But sometimes the crash pads don't allow the foot to kind of get back into its more natural position, and the shoe stays more lateral.
And by the crash pad, you mean
that
the
is correct.
lateral portion of the
That is
back
correct.
of the
And
shoe.
so there's
Okay.
been a slight, very slight alteration or change in the actual configuration of this blue material compared to the green material. And if you look, Kevin, at this angle right here, there's
Sure.
a little more of a V right here,
Sure.
and just a little more of a accentuated crash pad, where on the current one it's a little more balanced.
So it might be more balanced in the
Correct,
back. Okay.
right. So the advantages or the result of that, again, the person's foot may stay even or parallel to the surface a little longer without that tendency for the heel to break down on the outside. That's my favorite update. Otherwise, the shoe is moving, like a lot of companies, into a little more of an engineered appearance of the mesh fabrication compared to the traditional mesh that
With
people are,
overlays.
yes,
Gotcha.
that people are used to seeing. So most companies are transitioning into a softer, smoother, sock-like engineered mesh type fabrication,
including this model.
Yeah, where they just change the fabrication of the upper and try to reduce the impact of the overlays, as you mentioned, to be less abrasive on the top of a person's foot.
Gotcha. Now, again, this shoe just recently updated, and again, most criticisms by a customer is going to be the change from one version to the next. They make too drastic of changes. So again, I'm going to ask you the same question about this shoe. Is the new model going to alienate any of the old wearers of the Ride 7?
Early research indicates no.
Okay.
And I hope that
Done in your lab here at Phidippides?
yeah. I hope that as we people tune in to our show, and each time we do a review, I hope that I will be able to consistently say, if you like the last version, you'll love the new one.
If we have to get to that, the companies are not going to be happy if we have to tell people. If we have to tell people, do not get the next model, that's going to be a bad day.
Yeah, but it may be an informative day.
Being honest is important.
That's right.
Okay. Well, that's the update to the Saucony Ride 8, and we hope you like the new update. Okay, the next update we're going to talk about is the new Cumulus, Asics Culumus 17. This is the 16. The 17 has also recently been updated. We're excited about the update. And Gregory, what inherently is the most drastic changes, if any, between the 16 and the 17?
Definitely a couple. And the one that the person or the runner would feel immediately with comparing the two would actually be a slightly softer feel underneath their foot.
Softer than the cumulus, like the cloud. Is that possible?
Nice. And they've achieved that by basically changing the durometer or the softness of the foam that is actually underneath the foot. And I believe the foam material that's under the sock liner may be a millimeter or two thicker as well. And if you look at the this piece right there, and kind of feel that compared to this, that's an obvious. If you at home can pick up the two shoes and actually feel the difference with your finger, and that can translate into what you're going to feel underneath your foot. Gotcha. Otherwise, the toe box is allowing for a little more volume, a little more space, so it may fit or accommodate a slightly wider fitting foot or need for a wider foot.
Okay.
So we like that as well.
Did they do anything to the proprietary gel material? Did they enhance that? Did they shift it, change it?
It actually is changed, and the angle of it is basically kind of like inverted to accommodate the strike,
the initial touchdown,
cut touchdown, which basically is going to add to the durability of the integrity of this heel, rather than maybe feeling any more cushioned. And you mentioned the proprietary cushioning component of the shoe. Across the board, most proprietary cushioning components are there to enhance the quality of the foam that it's surrounded by. Sure. And gel included.
Gotcha. Okay, well, that's the update on the Asics Culumus 17. Again, we're excited about the update as well. The early going it's doing well in the store, so we hope that continues. But thank you. Okay, the next update we're going to talk about is the Nike Pegasus 32. This is the 31. And we will discuss the differences between the Pegasus 31 and the 32. And Greg, off the bat, what if any are the changes they've made from the 31 to the 32?
Thank you. Can I ignore your question and mention the 30 first?
Absolutely. Whatever you want.
The Pegasus 30 was a shoe with a roomier toe box based on the design and the mesh, and accommodated a very wide foot inherently. The 31 was the biggest change from it to the 30 was a completely different personality overhaul. They wanted to basically move the Pegasus into a faster, sleeker, more form-fitting type of approach, and by doing that, there was a big difference in the actual fit and feel of the 30 to the 31. And so, just wanted to give our viewers really the feedback and the update that if you've been a Pegasus wearer and have a medium to wide foot and have had very good success with the 30, the 31 might not be the most appropriate fit for you, but we have answers for you even within the Nike line. Now, as opposed to the 31 compared to the 32, the biggest differences by far is the application or the implementation of the upper material. Nike has, I don't know if I'm speaking out of terms, but has been on the forefront of pioneering the engineered mesh type of woven fabrication to the upper, giving their uppers a feeling of like wearing a nice shirt or jacket, a glove, yeah. And the Pegasus 32 is following in that framework of a mesh that is going to give the shoe more of that hugging glove-like comfortable feel, smooth feel on the upper compared to the 31.
Okay, is that going to help, like, get it closer to the 30 in the
That
way that it feels on somebody's foot?
So you are right on it, Kevin.
Hey,
It
well, they pay me.
absolutely will. It's the transition will be able to maybe get back the fit. Basically, is a little more malleable and pliable to the foot, and
Therefore,
will therefore
allow
allow a little bit broader range of feet to fit into the 32 that the 31 did not accommodate.
Now, does it still strike you as a sleek, fast design as well? Like, have they achieved the balance that
They have.
for
We
us?
were concerned about the sleek, fast performance orientation alienating some of the old Pegasus wearers. Some, obviously, but not as many as we thought. So it did continue in the realm of the Pegasus heritage, and actually maybe gained other people that had not been wearing the Pegasus.
Okay. Anything else to add about the update between the 31 and the 32?
No, again, it really is centered because the tooling or the midsole did not change, so it really does center around the upper.
Gotcha. And so it's still keeping the proprietary Zoom Air in the heel, but not in the forefoot.
That is correct.
We
yeah.
just have foam in the forefoot.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, that's the Pegasus 32. Next shoe we want to talk about is the Nike Zoom Vomero 10. This is the Vomero 9, and we will be discussing the difference between the 9 and the 10. So here's the 10. And Gregory, fundamentally, what's the most significant differences between the old one and the new one?
Three things:
Okay.
fit, and fit.
Okay. Anything else?
Fit.
Okay. Good.
The new Vomero is enhanced in most people's feedback opinions, again because of the woven mesh upper fabrication.
Common thread with Nike.
That is absolutely the common thread that is providing a general sense of comfort to the foot. A couple of differences between the old and new. Last season's version, the Vomero 9, also was a much roomier, voluminous toe box. You could really accommodate a pretty wide foot in that particular shoe, even in the regular width, just because of the absence of overlays and the mesh material and just the general volume of the shoe. The current one is going to still have some elements of accommodating the requirement if a roomier toe box is needed, but with a much hugging sock-like feel now. Two reasons for that: again, the engineered mesh on the upper, and then they've gone back and incorporated, if you will, a modified gusseted tongue where the tongue is attached, unlike the Vomero 9.
More traditional tongue.
It was traditional tongue.
That's not attached
correct.
to the upper.
Yeah. The attitude of this shoe from Nike is to still be a little on the fast side, a little on the responsive side, but yet hope to remain or retain the wearers of the previous version that was considered your solid, protective, cushioning, neutral shoe.
Now, their proprietary cushion, the Zoom Air, where is it located in this shoe?
Good question. The Zoom component, and that's actually a difference between the Pegasus. A lot of people ask what's the difference between the Pegasus and the Vomero. The Zoom component in the Vomero is there's a 4-foot Zoom component and rear that the Pegasus only has in the rear.
Some people have described that it's a little smoother across, as opposed to some folks had criticism that they could actually feel the Zoom Air unit edge either in the forefoot.
Sure.
Is that what you're finding in this shoe, that you're not finding that feedback?
Too early on the results of that, and so far we are finding that it does feel smoother in terms of the application of the forefoot component integrated with the midsole material.
Got it. Okay, well that's the Nike Zoom Vomero 10. Okay, well that completes our segment on the latest neutral shoes that we have in the store. If you have run in a neutral shoe before or are curious about running in neutral shoes or even what that is, definitely come by the store and try on the latest and greatest from all the different brands in those neutral shoes. Anything else to add, Gregory?
Yeah, one note, they may have noticed an absence of technical jargon, and that is going to be a theme that we expound to during the course of providing information to you, because we think that that sometimes the specifics, the technical elements about the shoe and the shoe industry might be overwhelming and misleading and guiding you as a runner into an area that may not be as comfortable for you or as appropriate for you. So our theme that you will discover going forward will be more on practical application and user-friendly terms that we hope you can relate to, that we will provide for you.
What we're going to talk about now is that little bitty race that we run in Atlanta every year on July 4th with you and your closest 59,999 closest friends, called the Peachtree Road Race. It's a 10K. I think it's the 40th year or 42nd year or however many years they've been running it, but they've been running it for a while. And we're going to talk about a few kind of key things to think about before you run the race and possibly going to enhance your race experience. So Greg, how many times have you run Peachtree?
I have run Peachtree maybe a handful of times.
Handful of times, and sometimes
this was
sometimes half of the race because you were an escort.
That is correct.
So Gregory used to escort the elite women runners back when Gregory was elite himself. I guess I've run the Peachtree probably 15 times, maybe 17 times. I've forgotten it, and I've never created any kind of streak. But there's sort of some key elements that I believe would help at the Peachtree. Things such as, if you can avoid a hot day, that's ideal. If you can make sure you hydrate beforehand and during, that's also a good idea. And make sure you wake up early and take public transportation. Those are the three key elements that I can think of right off the bat about Peachtree.
Now, how would one go about avoiding the hot day?
Well, you can't.
And if you can't, what do you do?
You hydrate and pray. But I think with Peachtree, it always blows my mind, people from Atlanta that I believe do not run Peachtree very efficiently. And one of the key things is to note is that Peachtree is a net downhill, but it certainly doesn't feel like it when you're running the hills at about halfway on. If Peachtree was run in cool conditions, you'd probably run pretty fast, but because it's usually running so hot, your times have to be kind of adjusted to some degree with the heat. But I think that most people start off too fast at Peachtree because the first mile or two are relatively flat, maybe rolling. And instead of, you might want to get out a little bit aggressive so you don't get trampled to death by the other 59,000 people, but not so aggressive where you're going to run a personal best in the first 5K.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Does the massive crowd contribute to people feeling like they need to catch up, and that's why sometimes people go out too fast?
Perhaps.
Or does it have anything to do?
Well, perhaps, and I think maybe the mob mentality or the crowd mentality kind of swells and takes people going too fast. But even when it opens up and there's an ability to run, without any distraction, which is hard, it still people go out too fast. After 1 or 2 miles, you've got a long downhill all the way to Peachtree Battle, and that downhill also, I think, helps encourage people. Everybody's feeling good, the excitement's there, and people run so fast in that first 5K, and probably could PR in the first 5K.
So they definitely need to put the brakes on.
They need to relax. Yeah, I believe that's the kiss of death for most people is not being able to relax in that first 5K. And as they surge down the hill to the Peachtree Battle Shopping Center, they feel okay, but they don't realize just how much energy they have spent until they hit the first hill, which is Cardiac Hill, right past, again, Peachtree Battle. The thing, too, about Cardiac Hills, it's kind of two steps of a hill. You take your initial uphill part where it'll get close to Benihana's and I think Houston's across the street, and then you have a little brief reprieve, maybe 50 meters of reprieve, and then it kicks up by the hospital, and that's probably the hardest section as it goes up the hospital. So it's kind of a 1-2 punch is Cardiac Hill, and if you're not ready for that, I think that's kind of surprising to some people. After you do crest the hill, then you've got a flat section, which again lulls people to some degree into thinking the hills are done, but they're not done. And I don't know if you've had experience with that section in your Peachtree time.
No, I see a lot of people walking around that area, but
right, at a necessity.
Yeah.
Right, not doing the Galloway method per se,
right.
but at a necessity. So after you've crested the Cardiac Hill, you've got the flat section all the way down to Amtrak, and where you cross the interstate, that's where you have your next hill, essentially. It's not a tough hill, and again, without Cardiac Hill in and of itself, that next hill isn't that difficult. But it does surprise people, so you kind of go up and curve right, and then it flattens again prior to the High Museum, which is where I believe your last difficult part of Peachtree lies waiting on you.
Now you mentioned hydration. Yeah. What about on the course?
I think on the course there's going to be plenty of opportunities for hydration all throughout the course. It's one of the marquee events in the world.
And you do recommend.
I do recommend when you can get to a safe spot to grab hydration. Probably again maybe after Cardiac Hill, prior to Cardiac Hill and after Cardiac Hill would be probably a wise time to take that in. You don't want to be trying to drink that and choke on it as you're going uphill. Is probably a pretty difficult challenge. But back to the course, I think once you've finished the hill past Amtrak and you've got that little bit of reprieve with the High Museum Hill waiting on you, that's really your last difficult effort, in my opinion, as you gradually ease up a hill. Again, it would be a completely unformidable hill without the heat and the miles you've done before you. But it does also surprise people as you gradually creep up past the High Museum. That's a lot of crowd support's there. I think they call that the Olympic Mile, I believe. So there's a lot of good crowd support. It's a lot of fun, but it is not easy if you're not feeling well. After you crest that hill, you're in good shape because then you're relatively flat all the way down to 10th Street. The last thing that I would recommend is once you get to 10th Street and you make that left-hand turn on the current course, you have 1,000 meters to the finish. That's 2.5 times around a track, and that's a long way to make your final push if you're feeling good and you want to try to run a personal best. I recommend relaxing there too because you've got a long way to go. Even when you cross Piedmont, you have between 400 and 500 meters to run. So again, that's one lap on a track that you have left to run. So my recommendation would be when you turn left on 10th Street, just try to relax. I think the cameras are there. It looks like a false finish. I know that I saw the finish at Piedmont and thought they shortened the course and was super happy because I was going to be finished, but it's a false finish because it's actually the cameras. And so look good, tighten up your form, put your chest out, look strong. But you need to know you've got 1,000 meters to go. So I think you could kind of gradually make your surge all the way to the finish. But again, when you cross Piedmont, you have 400 to 500 meters to go. So just make sure even then that you've got something left in the tank. And there's cameras everywhere, so you got to look good in the last 400 meters.
So the takeaway is probably not to go out too fast and
wait on those hills.
Wait on the hills.
And then take a left on 10th Street and be hydrated prior to and during. Absolutely. Okay, once again, thank you for watching Phidippides TV. Please be on the lookout for more episodes where we'll hopefully cover all your questions about the latest running shoes, gear, and accessories. And please don't hesitate to contact us with any questions about this segment or anything that you might need with your running activities. Greg, anything else to add?
Yeah, I'd just like to let everyone know that we think and look at ourselves as a resource for your needs, your questions, and your happy running. And so we're here to provide that for you.
Great. Good luck at Peachtree. And again, don't forget to join us on our post Peachtree after party. I believe it's the best after party in the world. I could be wrong. Well, that's going to do it from Phidippides TV. Again, make sure you shop from runners and shop local. Thank you.